Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show where Lee has his phone to the side so you see me looking at my laptop all serious. And oh, yes, Charles Traynor's with me. Hello, Charles. How are you doing?
Doing capital, I must say. Folks at home, I typically don't. I know it's probably horrible. I need to get better at that. Support the great Lee Gersman show. But I don't watch everything we do. But I noticed the last time it was kind of a sideways kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like that. It's cool. And then you just see me. I think it's a picture of yesterday and today. That's about it. But that's okay. I kind of like the sideways thing. And the fans of the show tell Lee on his YouTube, you like the side view or the one with the teddy bears?
Oh.
Anything will help.
Huh. That's interesting.
I like the side view. My vote is the side view.
Yeah.
Because I'm in Europe, so it's dark out, but in New York, it's daylight out.
Yeah.
That was cool. Anyway,
that's cool.
This was a choice of mine from about a month or so ago. So what are we doing today on your show here?
We're doing an album by The Who called Tommy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tommy, can you hear me?
Yeah.
The Who. Okay.
Yeah.
I just had to tell one of my kids, if I was going to go an echelon of the bands, and it's not Oasis, number one for me, no. Matter of fact, Oasis I would put under these guys. It's obviously the Beatles, number one for me. Maybe not for the rest of the world, but for me. I think a lot of the world, but for me, for sure. But the Who and the Stones are pretty damn close, like tied.
Oh.
For me, like right below them.
All right.
But the difference is, other than some few things here and there, I really don't know that much about the Who. I know there were mods and blah, 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 blah. And I know on some other show when Townsend lost his hearing and blah, 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 blah. All these different things, but I don't know. It's not, I mean, it's kind of a controlled narrative with the Who. Maybe it's because they've been around so long and they're technically still together, even though it's just Roger and Pete at this point. But it isn't necessarily like the Beatles or the Stones. I mean, you have to dig through. It's almost similar to, believe it or not, Guns N' Roses. It's hard to get like a definitive history on the Who because, I don't know why. Maybe there's just not as much info about the Who out there as Beatles or Stones. But I do know this, more than once, the Who, at the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus, they performed a Quick One While He's Away, which was from the Quick One album. And the Stones did not release the motherfucker ever until not like 97, and it was out of their hands because the Who outperformed them in one song.
Is that what they said?
Yeah. And if you look at the concert of 9/11, Madison Square Garden, and Paul McCartney put together, I almost said Paul Stanley, but Paul Stanley put it together, you had Bang Tango. But no, we had the Who. And the Who was the highlight of the goddamn concert, and people lost their fucking minds. The Who always seemed to bring it in a live environment for some reason, and really jar the other bands of their contemporaries, because they're contemporaries, right? Lee would have been the Beatles, the Who, and the Kinks.
Yeah.
I mean, in England. I mean, you know, I would say so. They were before Zeppelin.
Yeah.
They started the blonde hair, blue eyed rock god lead singer thing.
Yeah.
Kind Townsend, excellent songwriter, I would believe. Guitarist, mid, but he was a great chordsmith for people that knows guitars. John Entwistle is probably one of the greatest bass players that ever lived. And Keith Moon, I prefer. I think we already did another Who thing. I think Keith was a little too sloppy for Mr. Lee Gersman.
I don't know.
But I love it. So, but Tommy, I actually seen the film before I actually listened to the album.
Me too.
Right. And so the film had Aunt Margaret, all these different people in it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, there's a few versions on the film that I probably would have preferred more. And some style choices they made on the film. Oh, you got Elton John, you got Tina Turner, Eric Clapton, all these different people. And if you haven't watched that film and you're listening to the show, shame on you. Stop what you're doing and go watch the film. But the album's a little jarring because if you found the film first, because it is different, right? Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to have Tina Turner doing the Acid Queen.
No.
You're going to have Pete Townsend doing it.
But I was able to, be okay with it, especially since I actually found my copy of the album in my next door neighbor's dumpster. So no matter how bad it played, I was fine. I was fine with it. No, I mean, I cleaned up and put in the oven to get rid of the warps as best I could, and it played mostly pretty well. But
cool.
I feel like I did not lose any money over it.
And that was vinyl, right? So it was probably like 2 discs.
It was
2 discs?
It had like a gatefold that flapped over. It was the Decca record.
Okay.
So it was the original print.
Now and I mentioned a quick one while he's away. Pete Townsend himself said, and I would call that an operetta. I wouldn't call it an opera.
Yeah.
Or a medley or something at the minimum, but he called it an operetta.
Yeah.
They said that that's Tommy's father.
Oh, sure.
While he's away. And he says it on Live at Leeds. That's another very peculiar, interesting thing. I am amazed that the Who even gave a shot to play this album live, and they did as far back as Live at Leeds. Now, the original Live at Leeds buyers wouldn't have known that. It would have been like Fortune Teller, Summertime Blues, greatest live album of all time. That's purely live. Thank you. But they actually did Tommy as well, and if you get the new versions, it's on there. But they skipped some songs and changed the song order, which is kind of weird. And it's not impossible to find a live version of Tommy that the Who did, and it's kind of right as far as the track orders and not omitting songs and stuff like that. But it's just an interesting thing about this record. And then it became a Broadway musical, all kinds of things. Yeah. And Pete Townsend's way more rich than us because of it. But honestly, I don't want to tip my hat too far. This isn't my favorite Who album.
Okay.
But I don't hate it.
All right.
There you go. I don't hate it. I do like it as far as more than the other quote unquote concept albums they made, which was only one more.
Yeah.
But I don't hate the other concept albums they made.
Yeah.
But I like this one a little bit more. But other than that, Lee, go ahead.
Yeah, other than that, it's like you were describing the whole complete process that you used to make the greatest cake that you ever made, and then you forgot that you actually put salt instead of sugar in the mix. Anyway, and then I was quiet because I didn't want to talk because the salt was too much in my mouth. Well, alcohol, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I let you talk, even though I wanted to interject with a bunch of rebuttals all along the way. But
tell how they suck.
But well, I'll tell you this. I think the best way to find the album is if you find it in the dumpster. But that's me. But and I was about like 9 years old. So, you know, and I'll be right back. And then can you sing a little bit of one of the songs while I
think it's all right.
and then I will be back in about 20 seconds.
Okay, go. Do you think it's alright to leave the young boy with cousin Kevin, which is not on the album? No, I'm not going to sing for it. I do think it's alright. Do you think it's alright? I think it's alright. I don't know what I'm singing. What are we saying? He's going to say that the Who, Tommy, is better out of the dumpster. I challenge the rest of you out there to say, listen to it at least. Okay? We do this review, and listen to this fucker. Is it a dumpster album? Really? The Who, Tommy? I don't know. I don't know. I always get amazed when we do these. It's just me by my own, ripping, folks. I just gotta give you a secret. Listen to it yourself. I know you probably got Spotify or Apple Music or something. You can put YouTube on, listen to it yourself, and let's fucking unfuck this debate. Right? I heard Lee on what he does. I don't know what he does. It's incredible. I don't think it's all right. Fuck Uncle Ernie. We'll get there.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. The people are like, "What the fuck was that guy talking about?"
Did you hear me yelling?
No.
All right. I was going to say I had
no, they just heard
something happen, and then I had to fix it. So I explained the stuff, and I made pretty sure to no, I mean to someone else that we're busy doing this. Okay. All right.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway.
It's the Who, Tommy. I think what, 1968?
Yeah.
9?
Uh-huh.
Something like that. Way long time ago. The first rock opera. The first great concept album. Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah. I'm gonna say take away the word great. And then probably pretty much most of what you said is 90% accurate.
All right.
And of course I would want to.
When you were screaming in the toilet, I told the folks at home, listen to the album yourself, and then let's see who's right. Let's go.
Right there, take out.
Not fair.
My other vibe, and while you talk incessantly after I'm done about the first song or the overture, I will drink more. So don't worry how much you talk about it.
Yeah, let me.
Do you want to start or me?
Yeah, I'll start while you sip.
Okay, fuck it, fine. All right, the first song is "Fuck It, Fine." I'm kidding. Anyway, the Who, Tommy. Overture. What do you think of that?
Overture. This is a rock opera. Believe you me, I have actually asked Lee to do an actual opera review, but the problem is I agree with him. Once we looked into it, them fuckers are like 2.5 hours long. with like 92,000 songs. Now I'm good. But, I think typically, I'm assuming, because I'm not an opera connoisseur, you got underture, you got overture, you got all these different things. I guess that's why it's here. In the spirit of a true opera, we get this extended instrumental to lead off the record. The piece is a summation of the whole record. They even break it down, if you want to look in Wikipedia, folks, by the seconds, which songs they're referencing, if you want to do that. I did not do that, because I just know it. And it's pretty lovely, this one, in its own right. All the highlight tracks of the record, in my estimation, are in this little piece. And I think this instrumental is so good, it can be listened to on its own and be enjoyed. And I do very often. Technically, it does have a little vocals towards the end. It's Boy, Mrs. Walker, that part. With the Captain Walker section, which also features some great acoustic guitar. But really, realistically, it's a huge instrumental piece. And I really enjoy Overture. I can listen to it on its own. Maybe not even listen to the fucking album. Just listen to this. Go ahead, Lee.
All right. It's pretty well done. Sort of like Vince Guaraldi meets rock and orchestral elements. It might be one of the best things on the album. Now, some of the chord changes are to parts of songs I don't like those parts to, but technically, playing-wise, I can't fault it. Okay. Now for It's a Boy. Okay. Even though it's a very small snippet of a tune, it points ways to what I considered to be a very unpleasant, uncomfortable, and ultimately creepy storyline to an album where everything I have against it is what it's about. Musically, it's okay, but I usually avoid listening to it because even though it can be deciphered psychologically, I'm still against listening to this type of stuff. This song is like the dentist who tells you everything is okay and come on into the office when another patient is screaming in another room. I only know this from hearing the whole thing, but yes, I don't like this track. What do you think?
Well, we immediately segue from the Overture and the Walker guy into the short number. It was sang by Pete Townsend in falsetto for the most part. And you hit on a great nerve. Yes. Warning, trigger warning to anybody. This is a very fucked up plot. All right, Lee?
Yeah.
But in the same token, maybe ahead of its time. Because back then, people talk about their parents or what they might have done. Just Google Pete Townsend and his struggles, you understand. But he applies some of that logic into this album. And It's a Boy was short and not a lot to it. I think it's an absolute necessary component as a song, and I love Overture, but I don't think Overture is necessary to understand what's going on, because again, it's an opera. If you want to understand the story, well, you're not going to get that from Overture, but you may get a start right here with It's a Boy. So in the context of understanding what they're talking about, I think you must listen to it at least once.
Yeah.
And, but is it that great? No, not really.
Okay.
I agree.
I do want to say also that even though I say what I say about the storyline, it doesn't mean that I am still against listening to it aesthetically. It just means artistically, I have that point of view. Like someone who looks at a painting and says it's a horrible painting, but they still are able to look at it. So I'm not saying I'm against listening to it. I'm just saying my my integrity tells me not to hear it. But
Right.
that's different than my ability. Okay. Anyway, what do you think of 1921?
Well, Mrs. Walker here in the story, who now has moved on from the allegedly dead father of Tommy, is now enthralled with her new quote-unquote boo thing that she has moved in on. And unbeknownst to them, Mr. Walker is still alive and returns. And the lover kills Walker. And again, if you want to know the whole backstory, listen to a quick one while she's away. And it leads into this, which is fucking wild. But then anyway, lover kills Mr. Walker. And then he exclaims, "What about the boy?" Referring to our young Tommy, because he witnessed this. They also yell at Tommy throughout, saying, "You've never heard or seen anything," bringing on his psychological issues. Again, rather understated, but I would rate this a little bit above It's a Boy for my enjoyment factor, and also, again, you have to listen to this to understand the story.
All right. I put musically, and only musically, I could see this as a standalone single, not ever in any way associated with any other song by The Who in single or album form, but lyrically it makes The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway seem more soothing. Because of the creepy element, I know it's coming. So I won't give it a total, quote, "this is garbage," unquote, attitude, but lyrically I'll say it's close to total garbage, if not quite. Okay, now...
But before we go to the next song, can I at least challenge one notion?
Not the garbage notion, but go on.
No, I just want to ask you one thing.
What?
Yes, after you've heard this record, just one time, I get what you mean about maybe you should hear it, but to understand what's going on in the story, you have to hear it once. Correct?
I said it was more like the first time that I saw the movie and all that, I didn't have any problem with it. It's later on when I delved into it more than I thought the way I do. So I disagree with what you're saying. But I don't think it's wrong because you can also look at it as far as he did not have those actual physical issues. He just had the psychological issues which he had to overcome. So I'm not necessarily going to say that it's bad. I'm just going to say that a lot of times if someone talks way too closely about something in a way that makes people feel uncomfortable, it can make them feel uncomfortable. So that's what I'm referring to.
Fair enough.
Okay. But anyway, but then again, I'll let you know I'm not going to give this criticism to all of the songs. Anyway,
okay.
The next song is Amazing Journey. Musically, it's one of my favorite songs on the album. Lyrically, though only minimally disgusting, it still has a little bit of that disgusting part that makes me think I wouldn't have any criticism about it if it was an instrumental. What do you think?
We get our first song actually sung by Roger Daltrey, and the previous two, the overture, nobody really sang except towards the end. It was Townsend with maybe Daltrey on backing. This one he sung lead vocals. And this one basically explains Tommy's mind state after witnessing the murder of his actual father. Probably our most complete song after overture to this point. This one has a definitive prototype Who feel to the song, from the drumming throughout the instrumentation. And the instrumental outro is excellent. And yeah, I like it. And now we are getting cooking. Let's go into the next song.
Okay, Chef Charles, what do you think of Sparks?
We now get our second instrumental here, which is seemingly, combines some elements of It's a Boy and the previous three songs. I mean, I enjoy it, but usually the band wouldn't play this live. Like I said, they like fucking said fuck it or something. When they would perform the piece live, I'm sure there are some live versions, but not always. It's okay, but quite a bit boring, more boring than Overture for me. And yeah, I'm confident that this could be skipped and you won't miss anything with the story.
I put, this could have replaced The Song Is Over on Who's Next, and it would have improved the album. This is one great song.
Well, yeah.
So anyway.
I'm going to give Lee the credit. Listen to that song. Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, I would say if you find the album in the dumpster, only listen to that song. And then pretend that you liked all of the album. Yeah.
Just listen to Sparks.
Yes.
That's it.
And anyway, I would buy a whole album if the whole hour was a 60-minute version of Sparks. Yeah. Okay, I might only listen to 3 or 4 minutes of it, but I would appreciate the effort. Anyway.
By the way, me and Lee before, long time ago, different setting, but we talked about damn Yankees. I mean, they smoked this. All right, man.
Oh, no!
Oh, what? Okay.
No. Sparks is better. Huh?
No, I mean the whole album as a whole. I Said to the Blind, the Hawker. Here we go.
But wait, I was just going to say, I would actually probably still rather hear this than the damn Yankees album. Anyway, the Hawker, all right, which is also called Eyesight to the Blind.
Yep.
All right, this could have replaced Behind Blue Eyes on Who's Next, and it would have worked better. The lyrics are okay here, and even though the music is merely fine, it sure beats Behind Blue Eyes, so I'll give it thumbs up for that. What do you think?
Well, it doesn't beat Behind Blue Eyes.
Well, yes, it does. But go on.
Absolutely not. I think we do the Who's Next? No, we did. We did.
No, we don't need to.
We did the Who Sells Out, which I schooled you on that one. Well, I didn't school you.
I'd rather do more Oasis albums than Who albums than I want and let you know.
Fuck yeah. No, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Actually, in the movie, I think at this point, Eric Clapton.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. This is a cover of Sonny Boy Williamson,
who we need to do later. But anyway, go on.
A real artist. Oops. Or maybe accurately a reimagining of his song, I Said to the Blind. So who knew, right, Lee? Just put a cover on The Elder, right? The Elder. Their concept album. Odyssey.
Yeah.
The worst fucking Kiss song in the history of fucking humanity.
Yeah.
But they did do it.
Yeah. The Who have a lot better taste than that.
I would say so. I mean, Odyssey. But I remember people. It is weird putting a cover on a concept album.
Yeah.
But it works here, and it works. It's not the best track on the record, but I like it, and I don't think you can skip it. You gotta listen to it.
Yeah.
This is a necessary listen. Maybe those other ones, definitely not Sparks, but this one, definitely listen.
Sparks and this one different. Well,
21 you got to listen to. Not Sparks.
Sparks. All right, never mind.
That's cool.
Say whatever you want to fucking say. I'll just drink. Anyway, what do you think of Christmas?
Another keeper here. One thing though that I could have done without a bit was the weird backing vocals on that track. That I don't know if I like that.
I do that better, but anyway, go on.
But well, when you get to do it, but that's a minor complaint, and it's just a choice I wouldn't have made. We actually get some previews of songs and themes that we're going to tackle throughout the rest of the album, to include our first utterance of "See Me Feel Me, which we will hear quite a few times coming up. Sleeper track here, probably one of the better ones up to this point. Complex, but pulled off by a band on fire at this point. Go ahead, Lee.
I'm just gonna say, ultimately another shit song. Musically, at first it's okay, and even the vibrating ha 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 aren't the worst part, but the lyrics are the worst part. And both parts of the song that I hate the most are on here. So this is a song I won't want to hear on Christmas or any time. And now for my review of the song Cousin Kevin. Okay, Trash. What do you think?
I'm not surprised. This song.
I'm going to drink while you talk, so keep going for a long time if you want to, Mr. Overdose.
Okay.
Just kidding. Mr. Irish Good Guy. Go on.
This one and one other was written by John Entwistle. And they did the primary vocals and on that one as well. And it was because R.P. Townsend asked him to do those because these were themes that I guess hit too close to home for Mr. Townsend. And I do find it a tad ugly, lyrically. But again, it's in the context of a story. And Tommy is wonderful fucking parents, and that's what we need to remember. They decide to allow this shit stain to babysit Tommy. And all of the fun entails, include putting nails on a toilet seat. Very uncomfortable because at this point, we haven't really said it. Mr. Tommy is, as they say in the album, deaf, dumb, and blind.
Yeah.
He is catatonic because he witnessed his father be killed by his mother's lover. It's all psychological with Tommy at this point. We haven't got there, but it really is. So, to understand what we're talking about, and yes, it's a fucked up story in the late 60s. Like, if you put this out today, everybody would just be like, whatever. But man, this was ballsy back then. It is very uncomfortable lyrically, but as much as it pains me to say it, I dig this one. I thought it was well written, well sung. A duet by John Entwistle and Pete Townsend, and I thought they sang it well, especially in the chorus. And it is uncomfortable to hear on one hand, but hell, again, it's like watching a movie. It's part of a story. I like the song Cousin Kevin, but he don't need to come see me anytime soon.
I will say that when I used to do mixed playlists of John Entwistle songs, I used to put this on here. It's just that now I feel this way, but I've written lyrics that were kind of like this too, and at that time I thought they were cool. Well, I still think mine are, but this I don't necessarily.
And to be fair, this isn't as depraved as we're going to get. This is fun and games right here.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, but still, it's still something that I can still hear. Anyway.
Now, well, wait, before we go to the next song, and the interesting choice, and I will cover it when we get a couple more songs down the road. But we'll get there. They decided to not do something with Cousin Kevin, but they did with another song. But in the film, I'll let you know. Okay. We're on the Acid Queen.
All right. Acid Queen. Okay. Absolutely fantastic song. Perhaps the very best song on the album and in the Who catalog. I don't even mind that Pete Townshend, instead of a woman, sings it. It's convincing, and it transcends the ultimately crappy storyline, and it's a worthwhile song on its own that I think could have replaced Dreaming from the Waist off of the Who by Numbers, and it would have made the album 100% better. I give it major thumbs up. What do you think?
Well, good old Tommy's parents continue their pathway to Parents of the Millennium by taking Tommy to the Acid Queen here, which was done by Tina Turner in the film.
Yeah.
But Pete Townsend here, and she gives him LSD to try to break him from his mute life. Matter of fact, the Acid Queens wants to do more than give young Tommy some LSD.
Yeah.
Wow, these are some awesome parents right here. The song itself is pretty sweet, and while Townsend sings it well enough, honestly though, I do enjoy when a female sings it.
Yeah.
And I do think it misses a female vocals a little bit, but you do hear the great song anyway, and it is definitely cool on this album. Not my favorite, but it's definitely good.
Yeah. I will say I really do like her version too.
Oh, it's
and
awesome.
In fact, on the film, she shines. Anyway, what do you think of Underture?
Our third. And at this point, now I guess it's some opera shit. Lee will school us when he does his thing. Thankfully, the last instrumental interlude. And a massively long one at this point, 10 minutes at that. For some reason, while it's very similar to Overture, and it has some elements that do separate it a bit, I almost always skip this. It's the end of side one on vinyl, so I also assume I would have been flipping it after Ask Queen if I had it on vinyl. It's fine, but really Overture is more than enough as far as the instrumentals.
Okay, well, I will say that even though I also wrote a song with the title Underture, it really is not what they do in opera. And they're doing a pun. Like, if you have an overture, you have an underture. It's not really what they do. They have overtures, but only someone who would listen to this album would think of an underture. But even though I agree with what you say as far as how I felt when I was 9, I have to tell you what I think now. This is perhaps the very best song on the album. Not necessarily because of the instrumentation, even though that has something to do with it, but because it's instrumental and doesn't have those absolutely shitty lyrics that extremely bother me with the subject matter. I'd rather hear this song 8 times in a row as the whole Tommy album than what they served up. Okay. Now...
So now I'm 8. All right. Do you think it's all right?
All right. Right. Well, yeah. I'll start. Do you think it's all right? Okay. Actually, personally, I think this is one of the best songs, very best songs on the album, because it can be taken out of context and work on its own as a song. It would work as a great opening for Who's Next. I'm not joking. I really think this is a great song. What do you think?
A great song?
Yes.
Okay. This is the one.
Even though it's skipped on my album, so it go, do you think it's up? And that's all I would hear. But go on.
So this is better than Baba O'Reilly.
It will work before it.
Or The Bargain.
I'm talking about on this album.
Okay. Do you think it's all right? This is the one I was saying. In the film, for some reason, they made 2 versions. And the first version was, do you think it's all right to leave the boy with Cousin Kevin?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Which we don't get in the record. Or in the film. Well, the record. Yeah, we don't get that on the record. The film you get. But this is our, do you think it's all right? Which I think it would have made more sense to put the other way. Right, Lee? To make a story complete.
Now, I think that when they did the album, they probably were still not totally sure about everything, and then so I think that they needed the other people to make it work. But I do agree though that Cousin Kevin would have worked better.
I think they should put one for Cousin Kevin and our wicked Uncle Ernie here. Oh man, Tommy's parents are back on the prowl. And now they're asking, do you think it's all right to leave the boy with Uncle Ernie? Man, oh man. And even though we don't know exactly what is up with old Uncle Ernie at this point, I think it's safe to assume, based off of Cousin Kevin and the Acid Queen, because I didn't quite nail it. The Acid Queen gave a teenager LSD to try to snap him out of his deaf, dumb, and blindness. And now we are with Uncle Ernie. And I'm going to guess this is not going to work out. And while it's short, there is some strong singing on this. And it's a welcome back from what I believe. Now, I'm going to give you one little snippet.
Underture.
If you listen to Underture on its own, it's probably worth it. I agree.
Yeah.
But on the album, not necessarily. There's a skip to you, if it's all right.
I agree, okay.
Right. This song reminds me of some of the jingles on the Who Sell Out. The Who Sell Out, which we did.
Yeah.
And I do think it's all right. All right.
Okay. What do you think of...
Uncle Ernie. Yeah.
All right. Fiddle About.
Ooh. No, we're on Uncle Ernie, right? Fiddle About? Yeah, Fiddle About.
Yeah,
it's Fiddle About. I wrote it wrong.
No, it's okay. There isn't a song called Uncle Ernie.
No, it should be called Uncle Ernie.
But yeah,
Fiddle About.
But I hear you. Okay, all right.
Yeah. This was the other track written by John Entwistle, because Pete Townsend claimed he couldn't tackle these issues, and Google Pete Townsend. Uncle Ernie is not a good babysitter. Matter of fact, I think an argument can be made that Tommy's parents are abysmal human beings, and even more so than Cousin Kevin. Very, very uncomfortable. And let's just imagine what Ernie there, he's up to. You can find out on your own. Ironically, in the movie, it was Keith Moon. On here, it's John Entwistle. I am tied on both because they're so different. I kind of like both equally if I was to like them. And I don't know, I like it. I like some aspects to it, but it is an uncomfortable listen. Go ahead, Lee.
Okay, I actually love the music, and the words border on the creepy element I don't like, but if it was taken out of context, it barely misses the hate factor I have towards some of the lyrics to these songs. So I do think it could go after Do You Think It's Alright as the second track on Who's Next, before Bargain. That's how I really totally feel. Okay. Not that Bob O'Reilly shouldn't be there, but maybe not because of that. Terry Riley. We have to review Terry Riley NC sometime, and then you'll no longer talk about
so I won't like
Pete Townsend's influences on that.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, Pinball Wizard, okay. Musically a great tune, but lyrically it's total shit, and it makes me want not to listen to it because of that. I think it's a turd of a number, and even though Elton John did a better version of it, I think it doesn't need to be heard. Simple enough. What do you think?
Interestingly enough, on the Elton John version, I don't know if he wrote it or Townsend's got extra verse. And he agreed to do the film if he could wear the 6 feet or whatever Doc Martens was he wore in the film. And this is perhaps the most famous and well-known song of the album. From the iconic acoustic guitar in the beginning to that incredible windmill chorus that Townsend could only do. Roger Daltrey singing here is fantastic for me. And of course, whatever reason, Tommy is the greatest pinball player in the world. And they can't even see in here. The first, and I do get it, the storyline, folks, is a little convoluted. Let's just be honest. This is the first showing for Tommy that he's something more than deaf, dumb, and blind. Iconic, classic, never skip it. I love Timbo Wizard. Okay, next song.
Okay, what do you think of There's a Doctor? And I'm going to drink while you talk, so you can do 10 seconds longer than you need.
23 seconds, light, a little dainty. Definitely more along the jingles again on Who Sells Out. Yet another little song that can be skipped if you just want to cherry pick this album. But if you want to understand the story, you're going to have to listen to it. But there's nothing special with There's a Doctor.
Give me just about 10 seconds.
There's nothing special with There's a Doctor. For 7 seconds. Go.
5 more seconds.
There's nothing special with There's a Doctor. Go.
All right. 1 minute. A minute.
There's nothing special with the Doctor. Go.
All right. Okay. Go to the mirror. Go to the mirror, boy. Okay. Total
You
shit.
didn't say about There's a
All right.
Doctor.
Great song.
No, you didn't say about There's a Doctor.
I'm talking about that now. Great
Okay,
song. Very short, but one of the better songs. If they had 200 of these very short tunes, it would have been a better album. Okay. Now for Go to the Mirror Boy. Total shit. What do you think?
Tommy is taken to the doctor. And we get and it's Jack Nicholson in the movie, I believe, right? And
Yeah.
we get the diagnosis, which is in essence all up to Tommy. It's psychological. And I mean, for some crazy reason, this kid is fucked up. His mom fucked somebody in a quick one while he's away. You can listen to that. And it got knocked up. And then her lover killed her husband. And now Tommy's kind of talking deaf on blind because he witnessed it. But for some reason, he's fucked up. I don't know. I wonder why. And I really wonder why when they sent him also to Cousin Kevin, Uncle Ernie, and the Ass Queen. What great parents. And we do get the iconic Looking at You section, which we're going to revisit again. This time primarily sung by Pete Townsend. And it lights me up and brings a smile to my face every time they get to that part. And this is another favorite of mine on the album.
All right. What do you think of Tommy, Can You Hear Me?
Tommy, can you hear me? That's what I think about it. I mean, we get our short one, 3-part harmony, and it's kind of famous, but I don't care for it, and I'll skip it. Go ahead, Lee.
Okay. Actually put this would work as perhaps a country tune as sung by Faith Hill. Regardless of the subject matter, it works independently as a song on its own, so even though it's not one of my favorites on the album, it at least is better than the shit turds on it. Okay, now for Smash the Mirror. This almost got my approval, but it's ultimately shit. What do you think?
Now, Mr. Tommy's mom is pissed. And I'm so like, fuck this lady at this point. Oh, whatever. She's mad because the kid she helped out, she put in this world, is in a catatonic state. And it's her fault. So she smashes his mirror because that was the doctor's diagnosis. And he liked looking at himself in the mirror. She smashes it. It is definitely a bit more rocking and it's short. But this one I find I do find it more enjoyable than Tommy, Can You Hear Me? But that's not saying much. Oh.
Okay, what do you think of Sensation?
In the context of the story, Tommy is now broken through. And he's ready to speak, and he can see, and he can hear. The reality, though, is I don't feel like it's that explicit. And it can take you a few times to listen and really get what is going on here.
Yeah.
But that's what we get. And Whistle adds some French horn, which is a nice touch. And another cool thing is Moon actually shows a little restraint. and timekeeping drumming here, and song servicing instead of just showing out. I think he did a great job on here. Overall, it's an okay song, but this one is a bit draggy for me, and it's not one of my favorites.
All right. It's not a great tune, but it's one of the better songs on here, and it would have worked greatly as the first song off of Pete Townshend's Empty Glass album. I think it doesn't belong here because it's not absolute total shit like some of the songs here, but it does fit the issue. If the issue is rescuing shit with at least a little bit of a saving grace, but as a song, it's nothing much. Still, I'd rather hear it 100 times over only one time for some of the songs here. Okay. So you see, I'm not totally negative here. All right.
Oh, no.
Yeah. The next song, Miracle Cure. Weirdly enough, as short as this song is, it's one of my absolute favorite songs here because it's brief and doesn't get contextual. And musically, the group is tight. Very good. What do you think?
Of course it is. It's 12 seconds long.
I've written tons of them like that. Go on.
Shortest song in the album. And if you didn't quite understand sensation, well, here you go, because it kind of like sums up what he's trying to say is sensation. So definitely nothing to this other than clearing that mystery. And easily a skipper for me.
Yeah.
But if you want to understand the story, you got to listen to it once. I mean, if you want to know the story, you got to listen to every song once. And then you do what Lee is and skip the good ones. And listen to the shit songs and unlisten to the good ones. All right.
Okay, but I will tell you, at least with you, the ones that are skippable are so short that by the time you take the needle off the album, the song's over.
Yeah.
But anyway, what do you think of Sally Simpson?
Somehow with little explanation. Now Tommy is, by the way, they don't really explain this. And that part, I think, is a little bit of a plot hole. But now Tommy is a cult leader. He can see, hear, play pinball like a motherfucker. And Sally is a follower of his. And this one is yet another one. It's a little dark. As he throws her off a stage and she cuts her face and is taken out in an ambulance. Sadly, it would be very hard to know what the hell is going on in this song, you know, in my estimation. But unlike Sensation for me, this is a delightful little rock song here. Nothing spectacular, just a decent little track.
All right, I put, it could have been almost a good song, but the lyrics and some of the music are ultimately very creepy to me, and I don't like it one bit. And I could skip this song anytime. Okay.
Yeah.
Now for I'm Free. This works.
Yeah.
I think it's a good song. And if Tommy were ever a single disc, this would work on it, because as a song, it works outside of the absolutely stupid context of the plot. I dig it. What do you think?
And I gotta agree with you. The plot is ridiculous. I mean, they plays pinball and saves the world. Okay. That alone. But I'm Free. This is one of those songs that could be on compilations a lot. I'd say not. And in essence, this is Tommy's sermon, or at least part of it, to his followers. And we can also get a little tidbits from some of the other songs here. And I thought Townsend's acoustic guitar solo was fantastic. Not to mention Moon's drumming.
Mm.
You know, even though it's actually, you know, a Townsend and Whistle composite piece, this is certainly, for my ears, one of the better tracks. And I'd have to agree with the compilation people, and I guess Lee Gershman. This ain't no skipper. Great feel of this one. Dig me some I'm Free.
Right on. What do you think of Welcome?
Somewhat contemplative on this. Townsend's piano playing drives this song along. And Roger Daltrey does have the harmonica on this track. There are moments of sweetness in this song, especially the bridge. Yet while I hear some great things here, it just fails to hold my imagination. I don't dislike it, but it is a tad boring and very rarely do I listen to all of them.
Even though at times I feel the way you do, I wrote, I think it works as a standalone single type of song, but not on the album necessarily. But on its own, it has its charms and is much better than a lot of the regular songs on here. Okay, now for Tommy's Holiday Camp. It's probably one of my very favorite songs on the album because even though it's short, it has a fun groove to it. The other songs don't. I really think it's quite awesome. What do you think?
Another short song, and at this point, Tommy has set up a holiday camp for his followers who will bring their cash. And Tommy's parents are back at it again and using his newfound fame to their fucking advantage. And believe it or not, even Uncle Ernie is back. Written by Keith Moon. And This is right up his alley, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
The vocals on this are hilarious, and I enjoy this one, even though it's a quirky little comedy number.
Yeah. What do you think of We're Not Gonna Take It?
The last track. And we close out here, and I love it. In the story, Tom, I'm calling him Tom now, he's browbeating his followers about needing to stop doing drugs, drink, and play pinball. And they're going to take it, like the title says. And it segues to my favorite part of the whole album, the extended listening to you portion. The Who excels at going out memorably, and we do here. The listening to you part, it was actually edited as a standalone single in the 70s as just that good. And for my money, the film version is even better, especially with Roger Daltrey's vocals. But I love this damn near equally, and just for that alone, it's worth the price of admission. And I do think Tommy is an interesting record with a goofy storyline, but you can cherry pick some tracks, just pick the right ones. But This is an epic album, Tommy, and we're not going to take it, Lee. What do you think?
I just put bullshit. Okay, so there you go.
God damn. So let me ask you, the last note I put, which I didn't say, was I thought it was the first perfect concept album.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah, that's what I was asking. What do you think's better?
You mean as the first?
As a concept album. I mean, it's a rock album.
The best first best first. Maybe, but
not necessarily best first, because Beatles proclaimed that. I don't think Sgt. Pepper's had near as tight of a storyline.
No. I actually think Tommy is a lot better. Even with what I said about it, I would prefer to hear Tommy over Sgt. Pepper. But what I'm gonna
me too, and I love the.
I think a better concept album is the Kinks' album Arthur, but that's way later.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've even heard it.
I'm saying
Have you ever heard it?
It doesn't matter. This was out before it.
No, but because I might want to review it sometime.
I would do. Well, of course.
Because I heard that one before Sergeant Poopy and Tummy.
I wouldn't go as far as call it Sergeant Poopy.
Well, I am.
It's just like Lennon said. You have the first song, the next to last song. The rest of it is nothing to do with Sgt. Pepper. This at least tries to have a story. I didn't say it's the absolute best. That would be The Wall, Pink Floyd. Thank you.
Okay.
But we have a story. We have something.
I would say it's probably the closest that anyone did at that time to coming up with a consistent story song-wise. Yes.
And yes, and to have a song a couple records or so before that as the prequel. It's some pretty fucking smart thinking on Mr. Towns' part.
Or chance thinking.
Yeah. Tommy's not my favorite Who album, but
thank goodness it's not mine either.
I do like it better than their other concept album, but I would review that too. And
I would be better. I would be better reviewing that, but I'm not asking you to pick it. Just because I say something, that doesn't mean that I'm.
It's very simple. Who's Next is their best album. That's it. Final story. That's it.
I'm actually kind of thinking Sellout's probably their best. I'm sorry, and you're the one who told me about it.
You on that? Huh?
Yeah. So yeah.
What about
you turned me on to the album that what?
What about Lifehouse?
I keep trying to get the whole thing, and it's like it's on a computer of mine that no longer turns on.
Well,
because I have to. But thank you for reminding me about it. I'm going to have to try and do it. But yeah, I did have it on download.
Have you heard? I know you have. I think we discussed this.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was cool.
I know. Lifehouse. But
I'm talking about the song that you're going to mention. I heard it.
I ain't talking about songs. I'm throwing out
I'm kidding.
A record that I think is kind of a olive leaf to leaf, and maybe some that people should check out. You should check out Tommy, though, if you haven't. But Odds and Sods.
Yeah, I like that one. Oh, that's probably their best. Even though it's not an actual album.
It's a compilation record.
Yes.
They're wearing football helmets. But it's fucking awesome.
Yep.
There you go.
It's actually that and Meaty Beaty Big and Bouncy, which I love.
Ooh, that's good too. That's good too. You know, I don't know about Who's Hard. I do like Eminence Front. I like a few songs. I mean, but with Kenny Jones. I know you're a big Kenny Jones fan, but
yeah, but I would say at this point, it's Hard is not that great of an album.
Yeah. Yeah, other than John Entwistle is a great bass player as always. So if I had to rate the actual musicians, it's Entwistle, I guess Townsend. Because, I mean, Moon is sloppy. I love his drumming, but he is sloppy. I mean, Kenny Jones was probably better. Or is actually 4-4 or whatever, you know, keeping in time. And Roger Daltrey was basically Robert Plant before there was such a thing. Suck it, Zeppelin fans. And I love Zeppelin.
Yeah.
So there you go. He set the prototype. Matter of fact, you Kiss fans with Paul Stanley.
Oh.
Roger Daltrey was twirling around his microphone years before Paul Stanley.
Yeah, we should review One of the Boys, one of his albums, before we review Pictures at 11 by Robert Plant. Woo!
Or The Last Kiss soundboard.
Oh, forget what I said. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But anyway, we made it through Tommy.
I didn't mind hearing it. I just had my opinions.
And to be fair, for the folks that, who the hell have you listened to this that never heard of Tommy? But if you never listened to it, it's not a nice story. Not at all. And a matter of fact, I don't even know what the fuck happened in the end. But at least it was a story. That's all I can tell you. I don't like Sgt. Pepper's, but anyway, and I love the Beatles, but they didn't make a great concept album. Nope. Yeah. But they did light the fire to make this band do a great one, and they did at least one other one. And maybe a Lifehouse was kind of iffy, but either way, I'm glad to have been on, Lee, and we finally got Tommy out of the way. We've
Yeah,
done
and hopefully,
no more Who for 2 years.
and I'll try not to give you at least shitty albums by people you've heard of.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I like those to make fun of.
Well, there's plenty that you haven't heard of.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry, I'm a little bit of a creep. Anyway, anyway, thank you everybody. Take care.